Hello, everyone. Let me know if you can make sure that we don't have any echo. We had a little issue glitch with one of the email addresses, so I had to log in with my other email address. Some dealing with Google Hangouts or what have you. So let me know if you can hear me and if you can see the screen. Just type a one in that chat box if you can do that for me. We're going to get started momentarily. Guys, let me know if you can see me on the screen there and if you can hear me. Awesome. I see Nanette says she can hear and see my picture. Great, great. Anybody else? And just so you know, there's going to be sometimes there's a 10 to 20-second lag with Google Hangouts. That's just that technology because they actually are broadcasting live. So they record it live and it goes directly to YouTube through their live feed, their live streaming. So that's why you may get a 10 to 20-second delay. So I just like to let everybody know that from the onset of the actual webinar, so that way you won't be alarmed by that or what have you. Okay, so today I wanted to do a quick, Q&A dealing with marketing. Really, it's about providing value to you all. A lot of times we have companies, we have consultants and things, and yes, we monetize our message and we charge for consultations, we charge for different things of that nature, different sessions, what have you. But I wanted to bring you all value. I want to know what you all are struggling with in your marketing. I'm planning on producing some products in the coming up months or what have you. And so the best way to do that is to hear from the clients, to hear from the consumers, and get questions from you all as it relates to your marketing efforts or what have you. And any questions you may have regarding your branding. It could be from graphic design. It could be from what's the best way to market, how to market, and really, just doing an overview. Marketing is vitally key to your business, to your product, to your service, because really, if we don't know what you do, we can never purchase it. We can never, patronize your business. We can never find who you are. So it's good to know what your brand is. It's good to know how your brand is really portrayed in the marketplace, if you're even able to be found. It's amazing to me how many businesses actually do not have like a Google Plus page or are not search engine optimized. And I'm like, well, how do you expect people to find you? The number one place that people go look for a business is through the search engines. They search web design, Durham, North Carolina, or graphic design, Durham, North Carolina, or weight loss, or whatever your niche may be, whatever your business may be surrounded around. That's where they're going to be searching for. So I just want to hear from you all. If you all could just start posting in the chat your actual questions that you may have concerning marketing, and I'm going to answer as many of those as I possibly can. I'm not going to try to hold you all too long. We're going to do probably a 30 to 45 minute Q&A. And I did receive some questions beforehand from a great friend of mine and client of mine, Nanette Floyd Patterson. So I got a couple of questions from her already that I'm going to talk about as well. But really, if you have any questions, go ahead and start posting those. Her questions were centered around entrepreneurs, and I thought it was great questions. One of the questions was, what would you say are the top 5 online marketing tools an entrepreneur should have today? What are the top 5 marketing tools an entrepreneur should have today? And that's a very, very good question. If you are an entrepreneur, it's key that you have tools to help you along, especially if you are a what we call a solopreneur, meaning you're the only one that's doing it. You know, you are a sole proprietor and you are a freelancer, or you're just the only one that you're working in business. It's important that you understand that you have tools that you can use that make life easier for you. Some of the ones that I use, top 5. Number 1, I would say squeeze page. It's important that you have a squeeze page. What a squeeze page is, if you don't know, it's really just a landing page that people will go to, and you have information, and they're able to opt in for your additional information. In other words, you're giving them something for free to get their email address, or it could be to get a lead in your business. For instance, if I was a lawyer, I may set up a squeeze page that would get a lead, and you can be given a free consultation on that squeeze page. Now that could be your free what we call a freemium, or your lead magnet, to get them to opt in to whatever you need them to opt into. So as an attorney, you know, it's important that they get leads, no matter what that lead is. It could be for criminal, it could be for family, it could be for traffic, but they just want to get leads. So the best way to do that is you'll run an advertising campaign to a squeeze page, and then that squeeze page will help you convert those leads. And then, you know, we can go even further down into what we call a sales funnel. And a sales funnel just takes them along a journey. And it kind of takes them through a process where you're building a relationship with your potential client, potential lead, and getting them to a place where they're ready to make a buying decision. And now they say, okay, I trust this individual. Let's do business together. So I would say a squeeze page. Now there's a couple of companies out there that I would recommend as far as a squeeze page is concerned. That would be the one I've been using for the last 2 months now is ClickFunnels, clickfunnels.com. And I'll post the actual links in the chat box as well. ClickFunnels is a great one because it allows you to build all kinds of funnels. So from a simple squeeze page, even up to a full website, you can build in ClickFunnels. If you have the expertise and the knowledge of the understanding of the industry, you can do the same thing with ClickFunnels. You can do squeeze pages, you can do opt-in funnels, you can do webinar funnels, you can do sales funnels. I mean, it's like 8 or 9 different funnels you can do with ClickFunnels. So that's one. Also, another one I would recommend is Optimize Press. Optimize Press. I would recommend Optimize Press 2.0, and that's actually a WordPress plugin that you can get, and you can install that on your WordPress site. And I'm gonna get into websites too. That's one of my top 5. I'm gonna get into websites, but you can install that on your WordPress website, and you can also create landing pages, squeeze pages. I just did one. Matter of fact, I'll show you. I just did one for a book author. It was a squeeze page, landing page that we did for her, and for pre-orders for her book or what have you. So there's so many different ways you can use them. Then you have another company called Lead Pages, and they were the most popular, them and Optimize Press. ClickFunnels is the new kid on the block, but they are crushing it. They are really crushing the industry. People are joining ClickFunnels like crazy because in the niche that I'm in, as far as internet marketing and niche marketing, affiliate marketing, in addition to the web design and graphic design and the marketing stuff that you all know me for, they provide so much value, and it's really, you're able to get the other things that like Optimize Press and Lead Pages don't offer. You're able to get it all under one roof with ClickFunnels. So that's why I'm real huge on ClickFunnels, and they're great. All right, so that's number one, squeeze page. Number two, definitely a website. If you have a business right now and you don't have a website, you are way behind the eight ball. I know people are saying, oh, well, I got Facebook page and I got Twitter and I got Pinterest and Instagram and all that. That's all fine and dandy. However, a web presence can do so much for you. There's so many businesses out here that won't do business with businesses that don't, or business owners that don't have websites. They really view it that important. They feel like if you're a real business, if you're really doing business, then you should have a website. You should have a website. And so if you don't have one, I would advise you to give me a call, but definitely seek out someone to do you a website, have a website. So we got squeeze page, we got website. Another tool for entrepreneurs that I would suggest is what we're doing now. Webinars. Google Hangouts is a free, Google Hangouts is a free service that you can use to do different webinars. It's such a big money booster. I mean, it can literally take your business from being 5 figures to being 6 figures and 7 figures. And I even know some 8-figure businesses that are just creating webinars. They're really monetizing their message. They're repackaging, repurposing, some of the products that they already have. And they're doing training. Matter of fact, I have a live training that they're going to be doing. It's going to be a 4-hour training that I'm going to be doing on marketing. And I'm not going to pitch y'all on this. This is just a free live Q&A. But I'm going to be doing another seminar on this Thursday, which is going to be the five keys to effective branding. I did that seminar last year, at the end of last year, I believe it was. But I've got a whole lot more content that I'm putting in that seminar. And then I'm going to talk about the continuation program that I have as well on that. So I'll be sending you all the information on that as well. So you definitely want the squeeze page. You want the website, and you want to do webinars. Again, webinars are real huge in really creating a relationship with your leads or your potential clients. It's great to do consultations. It's great to do training sessions with your clients. And the beauty of it is, with Google Hangouts, Google automatically records the actual Hangout. So now you have information. Say, for instance, you're doing a training. Now you have information that you can go and repurpose. You can go and edit those videos, put those on DVDs or what have you, or put them in a membership site, and now you can sell that information. So now you've created another income stream for yourself. So webinars are great to have as well. I would also suggest we have webinars. You can also some people do the phone calls, and it just depends on what niche you're in as far as your business, your industry. It just depends. Okay, it just depends. So we've got the squeeze page, we've got websites, we've got webinars. Number 4, I would definitely suggest is you gotta have a social media presence. Okay, you gotta have social media presence. And a lot of people get caught up of, I don't have time to update my statuses or to keep track of my friends and make sure that I'm having engaging conversation with my clients and end users or Facebook fans or Twitter fans. And really that it's been so eliminated now, because you don't have to worry about that. They have services out there like Hootsuite that you can get, where you can actually schedule out all of your status updates for Twitter, for Facebook, and for some of the others as well. They really have streamlined the process, so you don't have to worry about a lot of the day-to-day detailed operations. I know a lot of times as business owners or as people that are running organizations, we don't have time to do a lot of the detailed work. So that makes it a whole lot easier. You take say, okay, I'm gonna take a couple of hours today, and I'm gonna go ahead and write out my status updates for the week. And you can do it like that. You can also hire a virtual assistant. You can get those dirt cheap. I was one of the other things I was going to suggest is that for the things that's consuming your time, you want to begin to outsource those things. Perfect example is administrative work. Dealing with client invoices or that type of thing. Anything that's going to cost you. And what I mean by cost you is that your time is money. Your time is very valuable. When you get to a certain place, especially when you're building as an authority figure, as an expert in your industry, or you may just have a product or a service that you offer. You may have a book, that you've written or what have you. And, your concern could be going out and finding other ventures that book partners or what have you, versus having to call each of those stores. That's something that you can leave up to an admin. And I was sharing with the client even earlier today that virtual assistants are so cheap when you go to places like Elance or Odesk, and you get people from overseas. Now you gotta make sure that some of them, their English is proper and all that, depending on what you want them to do. If you gotta have them making calls, you definitely got to make sure that they speak proper English. But you can literally get a VA for as little as $3 an hour. And when I went to begin to research it, it just shocked me how inexpensive it is to outsource a lot of the administrative work. And a lot of times it's just based on us giving up, sometimes we don't want to give up our baby or some of the duties that we're so used to doing, and trust factors and things of that come into play. But I would definitely suggest that as well. Let me see what the other question was. Okay, her other question was, what basic elements are necessary for an entrepreneur's website? That's a great question. What basic elements are necessary for an entrepreneur's website? And I have my wife here. She's helping me out today with the questions. So I'm going to ask her to start reading the questions off to me that are coming in as well. So what basic elements are necessary for an entrepreneur's website? Okay, so we already talked about the squeeze page. So it's vitally important that you have an opt-in sequence for your website. Very important that you have an opt-in sequence for your website. I just recently changed mine, and I'm actually geared to put the new one up on my business with my freemium multimedia website. But if you go to marketingacademy101.com, or if you go to jermainefreeman.com, you'll see that I have my opt-ins up there, because you want to build your list. I have many of my mentees and mentors in the internet marketing arena, and they are huge on understanding how big your list can be. Okay, so you want to build your list, because that's the vehicle or the catalyst to you being able to build a relationship with your customers and your clients. All right, real huge. So you want to make sure that you have some type of email opt-in on your website. Okay. The second thing I would say is you have to make sure that your content is optimized for the search engines. Okay, so you got to make sure that everybody is not what we call a copywriter. So it's key to understand that there's certain terms or keywords, I should say, that the search engines look for to make sure that people are able to find your website. Okay, hold on 1 second. Let me take a drink of water. So, for instance, if I have a website that's geared around cooking, some of my keywords could be learning how to cook, or the best way to cook, or when we're talking long-term, what we call long tail keywords, it could be something similar to, if you have a overall cooking website that talks about recipes, talks about different ways of cooking. It could be grilling or, a baking in the oven or whatever the case may be. There's so many different avenues you can go with a cooking website. But your keywords will be centered around that. And so if you don't have optimized pages on your website that are designed to build your natural SEO, what we call your organic reach, then you're going to have problems with people finding. And that's ultimately what it goes to. So you got to make sure that that you have, optimized pages, what have you. Excuse me. So you got to make sure you have what we call SEO optimized pages on your website that are designed to build your organic search results. What I mean by that is, if anybody's ever done a search in Google, when you have a search that comes up, you'll first see. Matter of fact, let's go to let me show you. I can show you better than I can tell you. I'm going to share my screen. All right, can everybody see my screen? Type of 1 in the chat box if you can see my screen. I want to make sure it's sharing. Okay, so here we're at Google.com. So let's say, for instance, matter of fact, I'm going to show you one of my niche sites that I have that have just launched. Let me try that again. Hold on 1 second. Here we go. This is a niche site that I've done with Amazon affiliates. And you'll see that I have my keywords. My main keyword is best electric cooktops. So it's not gonna. I don't think this one is actually showing up in the internet search results as of yet, but it's coming up slowly. I think I checked it yesterday, and it's up to like 50, I believe. So it's probably on like the third page of Google, third or fourth page of Google. So I actually optimize it with content marketing and that type of stuff. You see, I have on here, I actually have the articles, that are like 500 words or more, which is what Google really weighs heavy on. If you are a author, or if you are somebody that has a blog that you want to begin to market in any niche, any business, I would suggest, if you're able to, even if you have to outsource it, find somebody that can write articles for you, that'll help you. As a matter of fact, one of my articles on my website helped boost my search results tremendously. I did an article on social media and the best times to post on social media, and this article alone was shared a lot on Facebook and on Twitter, and it really just boosted my search engine results. And I was like, wow, I was really amazed about how quick. But you'll see here, I have different things that are linked. It's what we call link juice. And this is all a part of marketing, understanding a lot of this stuff, even in your blogs, when we talk about keywords. So I have different keywords that are geared towards when people type it into the search engine, they're able to find it. Perfect example, let's just put in best marketing consultant. And I don't want for this to turn into an SEO, but SEO is important. Durham, North Carolina. and boom, there you see me pop up. And this is just a news wire. This is actually like an article, well, really like a press release that we put out that helped with my SEO as one of the marketing consultants in this area. And you can see I got, now these are all just paid ads, so they don't, you only don't count when you're talking about the rankings. So you see I have the number 1 spot, number 2, have number 3. I have, I think that's not me. 1, 2, 3. And I think on the second page, I got a lot more as well. So I have the top 3 spots on Google as this keyword here, best marketing consultant. And the way we were able to do that was to implement, like when you go back here, you'll see certain things that we did. So we were able to put my name, of course, and here's a keyword, best marketing consultant. So Google will pick up on that when it's on your page. So we're talking about your website. So when you have stuff like that, that's geared towards what exactly your content is, Google will pick up on that and they'll begin to rank you according to that. You know, they'll begin to rank you. If you're looking throughout this, this article, you'll see it. Best marketing consultant in Durham, North Carolina, once again, and best marketing consultant in Durham. You know, different variations of the keyword are present in the actual article. So it just, you know, skyrockets your search engine results. And I have a few case studies that I'm going to be doing on SEO. I'm going to be doing a marketing campaign, a marketing or SEO, excuse me, an SEO webinar on all of that as well. Okay. Let's see, what other questions do we have?
All right, Nora J asks, is it wise to market yourself if you haven't completed your website?
Is it wise to market yourself if you have not completed your website? I have a saying that, you know, most people say, well, any marketing is good marketing, and I don't agree with that. Because if you don't have any things in place, your marketing, perfect example is, you know, when I consult with churches, you know, I tell them you have to make sure everything within your organization is okay, because you don't want to market to people outside of your organization and they come to your church or your business or your organization and things are not together. So it depends on what you're marketing. For instance, if you have a book that you are releasing, say you're releasing a book in June, and you want to begin to market that book, you know, and I always say, depending on what the item is that you're marketing, your marketing should start anywhere from 2 to 3 months out. And that's, like I said, depending on what it is. If it's a conference or something that you're promoting, of course, you can do what we call little hits along the way to kind of get the buzz up about the conference. And then within a 3-month time, then you want to really begin to push your marketing heavily. Okay. So if you don't have, you know, your website, if you don't have your marketing strategy in place, I would suggest, and I would employ you to make sure that you have that in place. At least know exactly what you're going to do as far as your marketing is concerned. Know what your marketing strategy is. Understand what you're going to do with your marketing and your branding. Many times you see a lot of clients, or you see a lot of people, for that matter, that they just market, or what they do what they think is marketing, I should say. So, you know, they'll create a flyer and they'll post a flyer, you know, they'll put a Facebook post out, you know, they'll send out a tweet, and that's not really marketing. You know, the marketing piece of it, or the branding piece of it, is really thinking through the strategy. So if you know that you're going to be releasing a product within 2 to 3 months, you want to say, okay, what's my strategy? How am I going to reach the masses with this product? I've got a great product. It's got great content. Now, how do I give this to the world? And many people don't think about that. They just get so excited about, I got a product, or I've got this coming up. I got, you know, a conference that I've been planning out, you know, I'm excited about it. But in order for it to be successful, you got to market it properly. I always tell people, for your budget, if you have a budget, no matter what your budget is, whether it's for you open in a store, whether it's for a conference, whether it's for a book launch, whether it's for a product that you're going to be releasing, whether it's for an ebook, it doesn't matter. You want to make sure that whatever budget you set aside, at least 15 to 25% of that goes towards your marketing. That means Facebook ads. If you're doing TV campaigns, if you're doing radio campaigns, because that's what is going to really launch whatever you're doing. That's what's going to launch it. It's amazing to me how many people miss out or they leave out on the marketing piece, not really realizing. Even with like artists, they'll do a live recording, or they'll record a project, and the project costs them 50 grand to record, and they don't have anything to market with after that. It's like, okay, why don't you just do the project for 15 grand and save the additional for your marketing? Because it takes that marketing and distribution to really launch in the music industry, so that type of thing. So it's key that you have things in place already before you start marketing. Now, it's one thing to have like a coming soon, or you're preparing people for an event, and you have like a generalized flyer. But even then, I would suggest that you still have the branding already done. So the concept of your brand, understanding what your brand is, okay? Understanding what your target market is, your target audience, or your target market. We have what we call our ICP, our ideal customer profile. Who is the individual that you're trying to reach? Who is that individual? What do they look like? Where do they go? Where do they shop? How much money do they make a year? What's their ethnicity? What's their college education, or their educational background? All of that plays into your market. Many times people think it's just getting on Canva and creating a flyer and all this, but from a graphic design standpoint, color theory, all of that plays into reaching the right target market. For instance, with me, if an individual comes to me and say, okay, I have a conference that's geared towards females, well, I'm not going to give you a flyer with a lot of black or a lot of red, because most females are not attracted to those colors. They're more attracted to the pinks, the pastels, or what have you, the vibrant, kind of bright colors. That's what they're attracted to. And that, coming from color theory or what have you. So a lot of that stuff plays into your whole entire marketing strategy, and knowing what to do and what not to do. Also, all of that plays into that. So I hope that it kind of answered your question. It depends on, where you're at, what product or service or organization that you may be getting ready to promote, or what have you. For instance, I'm working on a campaign now for a music store that's going to be opening up here locally in the North Carolina area. And so we're doing a huge campaign, but what we're doing is we're doing it regionally first, and then we're taking it national, through the website and all of that. With the internet, it's so much you can do now. Even with advertising, you have major companies that are pulling their advertising campaigns from TV and newspapers and all that, and they're putting it into Facebook ads, Twitter ads. Even now, Pinterest and Instagram is supposed to be starting. Matter of fact, I think they just started, doing ads and all of that as well. So you want to make sure that you have at least something in place, even if it's just your brand, that you can start branding and getting that image into people's eyes, and make sure it's a great image, because you don't want to have great content and then have an image that doesn't match your content. And vice versa as well. You don't want to have a great image and then don't have great content or value to offer people as well. Okay, next question.
Next one comes from Michelle. She has 2 questions. First question is 2 parts. Which social media is best? And the second part of that is that based on the type of business?
Okay, which social media is best? And is that based off the type of business? Was that the whole question? Okay, so which social media is best? It really depends on what you're trying to do. Honestly, it really depends on that. Of course, everybody's going to say Facebook, but you may be surprised because your most engaging audience may not be on Facebook. It may be Pinterest. It may be Instagram. Especially if you are, for instance, if you are doing something like crocheting, or if you do interior design. Facebook may not be the place that you get the most engagement. It actually may be Pinterest, where you can post pictures of what you're doing and people are commenting and they're repinning, the images that you're putting out there. So I would say you can research it. I do a lot of research, and I found, even depending on your niche, Twitter and Pinterest can really kill the game for you. I'm really geared to build up my portfolio on Pinterest because I've noticed I get a lot of engagement with a lot of the stuff that I pin on Pinterest. People repin the pins that I put up. So I'm going to start doing that with Freeman Multimedia as well, and also the Marketing Academy, and putting up a lot of the value and the tips and things that I share. I'm going to start pinning a lot of that stuff on there to increase the engagement. Because remember, the key point is you want to build a relationship, and you don't want that relationship to be one dimensional. You don't want to just keep sharing, and nobody's commenting, nobody's liking your post or what have you. So you want that social engagement. And so you have to research, if you tell me what niche you're in, matter of fact, if you mention it to me now in the chat, I can definitely, give you more information on it and say, which one I feel like you should go after. But I still say either way, it's great to have Facebook. It's great to have Twitter. It's great to have the others. But this is the key. Don't get caught up in having all of them and not being effective. You want to find out what works best for you and use that platform until you can't use it anymore. Now, what that means is be engaging, but don't over engage. One of the worst things I hate in the world is for me to go to Facebook and my timeline is filled with the same person. John B, John B, John B, John B, and it's like, okay, you are really killing your social engagement because now people are beginning what we call in the industry, we call that banner blindness. So the term comes from, how you see Google ads or you see a flyer or advertisement, but you see it so much that you become immune to it. You see it and it doesn't even resonate with you that that's actually a McDonald's commercial. You just see it so much, you just automatically know, okay, but it doesn't. So what happens is when I have an important message and I want to change the message that I'm portraying, now you're not paying attention because you post so much. You're doing 10, 15, 20 posts a day, which is crazy to me. And now people are, they are unsubscribing from your notifications. They're muting your conversations. So now your engagement has really plummeted. Another thing to keep in mind when we're talking about social media is, especially with Facebook has gotten real strict when it comes to what kind of content you're sharing. So based on what you have to do is you have to begin to really pay attention to your engagement. You may share just a status update that's anywhere from 40 to 50 words. And that engagement alone skyrockets. You got 4,000 friends and you have 500 to 1,000 of them click like on it. But you may do a short status, share a picture, and your engagement is not up. And the reason for that is Facebook has an algorithm that they use to be able to tell what content they want to weigh more important than others. So what happens is if your content, if they see on a weekly basis that you're sharing stuff and you're only getting 2 or 3 likes but you have 4,000 friends, then that's a problem for them. There's like, well, you obviously don't have an engagement. So because of the timeline can be so full of really junk, that people are, either they're advertising or they're just putting up crazy stuff. Now Facebook says, okay, well, we're not going to show this. We're going to show, we're going to weigh another post or another status heavily, more heavier than this status or post, because they don't have the engagement. Where we see this actual post, this is what people like. This is what they want to actually see, the type of content. Facebook, if you want to make Facebook happy, share great content. If you share great content on your page, you will never have a problem with Facebook, because they want people to stay on Facebook as long as they possibly can, which makes sense. I mean, it makes sense because now they're able to boast about that with advertisers, which is the number one way that they make an income. Making income from Facebook. It's through their advertising now. So it's key to understand the rules of the game. So that way you can play the game, and you can be ahead of the game. You can be winning the game versus losing and realizing what is going on, and you thinking that your stuff is just not engaging. Where it could be the time that you're sharing it, it could be the type of content you're sharing it, or it could be what you're sharing it with. Different niches should be able to share different types of pictures. Perfect example is the pets. If you'll notice, when people share their pet pictures, the pictures they're taking with their cats and their dogs and things, you'll see the likes be off the roof. I mean, you're talking 300, 400, 500 likes for somebody that may have 2,500 friends. And that's because those types of images people love. My timeline, anytime I share anything about my kids, I share anything about me and my wife, whether it's we're on a date, whether we take a picture, I always get no less than 150 to 200 likes. I'm not posting it for that, but that's the kind of stuff that my friends like. That's the kind of stuff that they like. So you have to gauge that type of stuff and say, okay, I'm not really getting enough engagement with this type of content. Let's switch the content up and see how the engagement goes as well. Okay. Okay, she says she's a Christian life coach, speaker, and author. Christian life coach, speaker, and author. Okay, so I would say definitely Facebook. You definitely want to be on Facebook. You definitely want to be on Twitter as well. And even depending on how social you are as far as images and things of that nature, you may also want to do Pinterest. And actually Pinterest would be good if you are, one that is able to do quotes. If you give out quotes, or if God gives you quotes and you want to, put those in go to Canva and put those on a nice, background and pin those. That is great engagement type stuff. That's great engagement type stuff. And I always suggest, by the way, even though I'm a graphic designer and I do multimedia, I always suggest tools like Canva. That are great for quick images. I actually use Canva myself for a lot of my quote stuff. So I'll go there, do a quote real quick, and send it to Facebook or Twitter or even Instagram and Pinterest. So Canva.com is a good tool. The other tool I was going to mention, I don't think I got to 5, was Post Planner. Again, that's Post Planner. And I think it's postplanner.com. It's another tool that allow you to work on your engagement. But what I like about Post Planner is it actually has engaging content that you can actually piggyback off of. So they actually go out there and they get all of the engaging content. They have an algorithm that'll search Twitter, it'll search Facebook, it'll search the internet on all of the social media outlets and find out what's the most engaging content. And then it pulls all of that into their actual program. It says, okay, if you want to do this, share this type of content. This is a highly engaging post here. You may want to share this on your page to increase your content. And it's worked great for me as well. So I would definitely suggest Post Planner, but definitely Facebook as a Christian life coach, Facebook, and Facebook and Twitter. You want to be on those two, most definitely. And then I would also look at Pinterest as well. I would create even a Facebook group where you can deal with different issues, excuse me, different issues that you see different, what we call them pain points in the internet marketing industry. We call them pain points that you can give problems or the problems, but you can give solutions to. And Facebook groups are good for stuff like that because you have a entire group of people that are centered around this one theme or niche. And they, so they're targeted. It's a great targeted area. And I'll talk about Facebook ads and stuff on a future webinar. But when you put people in a group like that, now you're really beginning to lose the power of being able to engage them and being able to even advertise and build relationships with them as well. Okay. Next question.
Okay, she also wanted to know. Where did it go?
Put a 2 in the chat box if this information is helping you out. Okay. Okay, Michelle had another question. When you're running a campaign, can the landing page replace your website link for a short time? I would suggest if you're running a campaign, I would suggest you still have your website, but with lead pages and ClickFunnels and even optimized press, you can have it where that page, that URL, you can use that as your main URL in your campaign. So say, for instance, if you're running a Facebook ad, you can actually use that particular page URL as the main URL. So you still have your website page that people can go view and all of that, but then you have another page that people are able to go to, and that's the main campaign page URL. So I wouldn't necessarily replace my website with the landing page. I would create, like, for instance, I'm actually working on a landing page now for my web design business, and it's going to be geared towards local web design and SEO optimization. So that page, when I create the campaign and when I begin the SEO, SEO optimization for that page, that's going to be the URL that I'm going to use for that page. Now, the interesting thing you can also do as well is you can always get an additional domain and have it linked to that individual page. So, for instance, if you want it, and this is all a part of branding, it's all a part of branding. So, off the top of my head, if I was dealing with web design and I am talking about optimizing their web design pages, if I got a domain like optimization is good.com or something like that, or something that's real catchy, kill Google with this optimization tip.com, stuff like that really plays a part into, okay, grabbing people's attention and bringing them to that individual page. So there's different avenues you can use to do that. I would suggest, eliminating your website. Now what you also could do is you could have the landing page be the first page that comes up, and then whether they opt in or decide not to opt in, it'll go to the actual home page. So you can set it up that way as well, if that's what you're really looking to do. And I do stuff like, if depending on what type of landing it is, you can actually do that within the what we call the pop-up box. Where you have a pop-up that pops up the offer or what you are trying to get done as far as your landing page, and then they're able to click out of that, and the website is right there behind. You have an overlay that brings up the pop-up, so they're able to still see that there's a website behind it, but they see the pop-up first. So there's that was 3 ways there that you can do it without eliminating the website and what have you. I mean, I think it's key that you still keep that brand instead of replacing it. And it depends on how long, but I wouldn't necessarily, suggest replacing it, especially if you have a lot of traffic coming to your website. Now, again, if you're trying to push an event, you're trying to push a book launch, you're trying to push a product launch, something of that nature, then you can do a separate page, or you can do it where that page pops up first, and then after they make a decision or create an action of yes or no, then it goes to your regular website. Okay. All right, the next one.
Okay, as it relates to color themes and attracting your audience to your site, if anyone uses the same girly colors to attract women, won't people's brains begin to look alike?
It depends. There are so many different color schemes out here. So it just depends on the graphic designer. If you have a talented graphic designer, they're able to use different colors. And don't get me wrong, most women, they love pinks, they love fuchsias and all that. However, what I do with my clients is I take them out of the norm while keeping them within their target audience. So for instance, I may do a flyer with pink in it this time, but then the next time I may have a flyer that may have a little green, may have a little pink in it. It may have some black, and tie all of those in to where you have the green may be the dominant color. Then you may have a little pink, and there's so many different shades of these colors that, having individuality is not going to be a problem. You being unique, if you have the right designer. Let me say that. If you have the right designer, some designers, they will create stuff and it looks the same all the time. But if you have the right designer, they're able to take your vision and say, okay, this is what I want. And even if you provide colors, and many times people will provide me colors and I'll tell them, I don't think those colors are going to work, just based off your target audience, what you're trying to do. I don't think those colors are the best colors for you. And then I send them color swatches. There's a color scheme website, Adobe Color, Kuler. Matter of fact, let me if you go to, I want to say it's color.com, I believe. Let me see. I just posted in here a link to color.adobe.com. And it's basically a site full of color swatches. A lot of times what I do, and this is good for you as someone that may be looking to get graphic design work and all that, and don't know what's current. A lot of times what I'll do is I'll type in Google latest color trends. And then it'll pop up the latest trends, especially for when I'm doing wedding invites and things, or wedding consultations. And the young lady will come, the bride will come to me with certain colors that she likes and things, but she wants to be hip and trend and still have the current colors that are in style, because a lot of times that plays a part in the availability of your dresses, for your brides and all that type of stuff. So I'll type in Google color trends, or that type of thing, and find, different color swatches and all that. So I know I went the long route around to answer that question, but if you have the right people in place, you won't have a problem with uniqueness at all. You won't have that problem.
Okay, got another question that says, what about Google Plus? Do you think that it would be a good idea? Would you think it would be good for SEO due to the fact that Google is the largest search engine?
Yes, absolutely. If you don't have a Google Plus page, get one. Okay. Matter of fact, if anytime if you're recording a video or anything like that, if it's just a inspirational video or a motivational moment, record it on Google Hangouts and then share the YouTube link. Ask me why. Okay, I feel like y'all already asked me. They weigh heavily on their own products. So record it on Hangouts on your Google Plus page, and it's going to automatically go to YouTube. But if you record it on YouTube and then post it everywhere else, now you're just getting regular search engine weight. Whereas because Google is Google Hangouts and Google Plus is a Google product, and actually Google purchased YouTube. So because they're their own products, they're going to weigh heavily on. So they weigh from an SEO standpoint, from a search engine optimization standpoint, they weigh heavier on your Google Plus page and also your Google Hangouts or the videos that you have coming from your Google Plus page that are on YouTube. So I always do that. That's a huge SEO tip that I learned that as researching SEO and all that, is that they weigh heavily on their own product more so than they do YouTube. And make sure anytime you do a video, put in keywords. So whatever your video is about, put that in as your keywords. Put it in your introduction or your description. Put it in there, because all of that helps with your search engine optimization. But yes, you certainly want to get a Google Plus page, and for your business, you want to get a Google for Business page. Okay, you want to make sure that you get that, because and you want to get verified. I'm actually going to be offering a verified service that I'll help businesses get verified with Google. And what that'll do is that'll put you in what we call the 7-pack. Let's see if let me share the screen again. So if you just search for anything, let's just search for graphic design, Philadelphia. Okay. Can everybody see my screen? Just let me know if you can see the screen. I want to make sure that you're seeing what I'm showing on Google here. Just type a 1 in the chat box if you can see my screen. Okay. All right. So right here is what we call this the 7-pack, where you see these businesses right here. And what happens is Google's found out that when people are searching on the internet and the search engine pops up, normally these 3 positions right here are ignored. These are usually the most ignored, and these over here are usually the most ignored. Although they are cheaper cost per click. When you go to Google AdSense and all that, they're a little bit cheaper. These are very, very expensive. So it's worth it to them to put them up here, because a lot of these guys, one lead can be $30,000 or $40,000. So they don't mind paying, $1,000, $2,000 a month to be up here, because it's well worth it. I have some clients now that I'm going to be renting some spots to, and they're going to be paying me $300-400 per spot, because we got them up in the search engines. So they don't mind renting a spot here, like an attorney, for instance. If I give him a lead, he could potentially make anywhere from $2,500 to $5,000 off that lead. So he doesn't mind renting that for $500 a month, when he could potentially get 3 or 4 leads a month off of that. But this is what they call the 7-pack. And what happens is when you verify your Google Plus page, now you're able to be put in this actual 7-pack just by verifying your page and as a business, and making sure that your information is located, or all your information is filled out. So what happens is now you're able to be located on the maps and all of that, and your information begins to pop up with all of your contact information, your business hours, your website, phone number. So people are able to access you, very quickly. And usually what happens is, and I'm going to go on a campaign with one of my websites to make sure I get reviews and all of that. Because when you have reviews, normally it'll show how many reviews you have down here. And their studies have shown that those with reviews are the ones that their eyes automatically gravitate to. and they want to see that. They're like, oh wow, okay, if he's got 10 reviews and he's got 4 or 5 stars, he's got to be, this business has to be a good business. So that's what they call the 7-pack. That's what they weigh that according to your Google Plus page, and you'll be surprised how many people have not even verified their page. It's easy to verify, and I can deal with that in a whole nother webinar or what have you. Okay, so what else do we have?
Okay, we have a listener who had a question.
Mhm.
She says that she has a Wix website. Yeah, and she doesn't know how to post it, but she has a Facebook page and it's coming up on her 5th anniversary and wants to do a big promo. How is the best way for her to promote her nonprofit organization?
Okay, so she has a Wix website,
Mhm.
and she has a big promo coming up.
She's coming up on her 5-year anniversary and wants to do a big promo.
Okay.
And wants to know how is the best way for her to promote her nonprofit organization.
Okay. The first thing I'll say, and I understand nonprofits don't have a lot of money a lot of times, but get rid of Wix. Wix. Now they have come a long way, but there's still a shun upon in the industry as it relates to search engine optimization, and being really being flexible enough to really make sure that pages are optimized and all that type of stuff when it comes to SEO. So you'll get a lot of, I haven't to this day really seen a Wix website that ranked high on search engines. I just haven't seen it because of the way that they structure their pages and things. And I've heard that they're trying to make changes. And I know they finally went from Flash to HTML5, which was a huge advance because if you don't know, Flash is so outdated now that not even Adobe is actually supporting it anymore, which is crazy. The company that creates Flash, they're not even supporting it anymore. And of course, Apple, they don't support it, and other browsers and stuff are starting to drop support for it as well. So people have Flash or have Flash websites, and now people are not able to see or view all of their websites because they may have a Flash intro or have this and that. And the technology is outdated. It's heavy technology. So it's shun upon in the industry. Now, as it relates to your promoing for your 5-year anniversary and really promoting the nonprofit, I would suggest, and I'm going to be dealing even on the 5 keys to effective branding on that webinar. I deal with some of the best ways to market on a budget. And I really would I would say you definitely want to market on Facebook via, posts and shares and things. But it also depends on your budget. It depends on your budget and what your end result is that you desire. So if you have an event that you're doing, for the 5-year anniversary, and you're doing ticket sales and all that, then all of that plays into your marketing strategy, because then you really move from, free advertising to saying, okay, do you have a budget, even if it's a small budget, where we can target an individual market and say, let's go after these individuals on Facebook and show them the ad and have them or try to convert them into ticket purchases or whatever the case may be. So I'll give you my information if you want to talk a little bit more offline. We're able to do that, and I can kind of give you, if I get a little bit more information, then I can kind of point you more so in the right direction as it relates to what your marketing efforts should be. But just on a basic level, I definitely would say Facebook as well as Twitter. For as far as putting flyers out and really creating a buzz about the event. And use I'm not sure how your website is structured, but even use that to a certain extent. If you have a lot of people that go to your website, then you can definitely use that as a pulling card as well. Okay.
Okay, have another question. Do you offer consultation for those who want to use Google Hangout?
Absolutely, I absolutely do. You can let me go ahead and give you all. I'm gonna type my information in the actual chat box. And yeah, feel free to give me a call. Feel free to reach out to me, and we can set up a consultation and training on Google Hangouts. I'm actually and Google Hangouts is actually a free service through Google. However, there's other services that allow you to skin the actual Hangout. Some of you all may have heard of GoToWebinar. It's a great service, but it's very, very, very expensive. I think the cheapest plan that they have is like $499 a month. And so, you know, depending on how, and then you have a limited amount of people that can be on the webinar. I think it's up to 1,000 that can be on the webinar, and that plan is way up there. And then you only have a certain amount of presenters. Where with Google Hangouts, you can have unlimited attendees to your webinars or to your sessions, to your Hangouts, and then you can have I think it's 10 presenters. So I can actually have 9 other people on this webinar with me that are presenters, and we can actually share screens with each other. We can actually, you know, I can make other presenters live, and they can take over the presentation and introduce a part of the presentation. So there's a lot of power in using Google Hangouts, and I definitely, you know, I do consultations and training with that technology. But I'm using and I'm pretty sure y'all can see it. It's called Webinar Jam. So it actually scans right over the Google Hangout, and I love Webinar Jam. And it's only like $297 for the year. So that's the yearly price, which I can show you easily how in 1 or even 2 webinars, if you're a business, you'll make that and plus more easily with doing webinars or what have you. So you're able to have the chat, and you're able to do polls, and I can interject videos. I can pop in different offers and things of that nature. And you all see some of that technology in my next webinar, the 5 keys to effective branding. But yes, I actually absolutely do any consultations. Let me put my numbers in here. That one wouldn't come to me, well, would it? You all should see that. I'm not sure how I posted that way, but at any rate. All right, what else do we have? We're going to wrapping it up pretty soon. I don't want to keep you all too long.
I think you may have answered some of it, but the next one says, do you offer consultation in general? I have a website and social media presence, but I'm getting very little traction. Do you offer a service where you look at what clients have and offer suggestions for improvement?
Yes, I do. I actually do. What we'll do is we'll do what we call a social media review. And I'll look at your sites or look at your pages, and we go from there. As far as there's a fee for that service to look and say, okay, this is what we suggest from an optimization standpoint. And then if you want to move further, then we're able to do like a monthly social media campaign where we can have it one or two ways, where we show you what to do in initial training. Or you can have where you hire us to do the statuses and all that type stuff and optimization, and we keep an eye on it, on your analytics, and see what's working, what's not, or what have you. So yes, we actually do that. Please give me a call, or feel free to reach out to me by email, and we could talk further about that as well. Okay. Well, if there's not any more questions, again, I've put that information in the chat box. My number is 877-878-0998. That's 877-878-0998. And of course, you can reach out to me at info@marketingacademy101.com. And listen, I hope you all have gotten a lot out of this Q&A. I'm going to be doing these from time to time. And if you are not busy on Thursday night at 8 p.m., I'm going to be doing a webinar, the 5 keys to effective branding. We're going to be going through 5 keys that I found that help with your branding and it being effective. Because many times you can brand, but if you're doing things the wrong way, it's not going to be effective. My high school basketball coach, Coach Larry Parrish. I never forget him as long as I live. He taught us one thing in basketball, and he said, people say that practice makes perfect, and that's not right, because if whatever you're practicing is wrong, then it can never be perfect. And so what the saying should be is perfect practice makes perfect. So you want to make sure that you're doing the right things in your branding, and you're not really killing your brand by not knowing, what you're doing and stuff. So that's going to be Thursday at 8 o'clock p.m. I'll send out a link for that as well, if you're able to attend that. If not, I will have a replay of that, so you'll be able to see the replay as if you had attended the webinar. But I would definitely like for you to be on the webinar and have that interaction, that engagement with me as well. I'm going to be dealing with a lot of information, and we've got some polls and things that I want to get to you. And if you do me a favor, I posted my email address in there. Do me a favor. I want to help you all. I'm going to be creating some products and some paid services and things to really help businesses and organizations get to the next level of growth, next level of revenue in doing that. And so I want to know what is your pain points in your business. What are the things that you need help with to help you get to the next level in your business? It could be with your marketing. It could be with time management, with productivity. Let me know. Email me at info@marketingacademy101.com, and let me know, just in a short phrase. It doesn't have to be something that's very extensive unless you want to do that. But just let me know. This is where I need help at. This is something that I would really like information or educational items on. And I'll be glad to take that. I need that information so I know what to give you all as it relates to your marketing efforts and your branding and what have you. So I thank you all for attending. I pray you got a lot out of this. And I hope that you'll be able to implement even some of the strategies and things that I talked about here today on the webinar. And again, reach out to me. I'm available to do consultations, whether it's social media, whether it's your branding and your marketing. Reach out to me. We'll love to work with you and help you take your brand to the next level. Until the next time, I will see you all later. Y'all have a great day.